Hey legends, and welcome back to the least knowledgeable gaming channel, where we're talking about a meeting of two very awesome yet very distinct properties. Like most RPG nerds, I've been salivating about the idea of Cyberpunk 2077 ever since CDProjektRed first announced it back in 2012. The idea of a tech dystopia future based on a pen and paper tabletop game from the 80s reads like manna from heaven to someone that grew up on Blade Runner, Final Fantasy VII, The Matrix, Fallout, and other such worlds. One thing I never expected to see, however, was the world of the upcoming, likely to be best game of all time, cross paths with the real motorsports world and thus put RPGs within the reach of my channel once again. In case any of you are still around from back then, this channel originally exploded by covering Wolcen Lords of Mayhem shortly after its release. Contrary to what the community may believe, it wasn't actually the sim racing surge which began all of this, but rather something we pivoted onto after everybody stopped caring about Wolcen. In the back, however, I never stopped loving role-playing titles and hope to spend more time featuring them on the channel as time goes on. Cyberpunk gives us the vehicle to do just that. Specifically, the Porsche 911 Turbo, the ride of Johnny Silverhand, Keanu Reeves' character in the popular franchise.
Silverhand. Johnny Silverhand. Real talk of the town back in my day.
Recently, a trailer went live showing a promotional, if not overly dramatic shoot done at the Porsche Museum, showing somebody stealing the old 911. While crossovers between real-life car manufacturers and video games have been fairly commonplace for some decades in video games, it did tend to exclusively be the domain of racing games or simulators. Most action titles, to avoid dealing with the hassle of licensing issues, tend to avoid this headache altogether and simply create amalgam vehicles based on the designs of real-life models. Not so in Cyberpunk 2077, where it appears a real-life Porsche 911 Turbo has been modeled audio-visually to retain its authentic character to go along with the very distinctive character that drives it.
You're a dick, you know?
And you're a cunt. Maybe we'll fit together after all.
Alongside Porsche, we see a quasi-feature of Keanu Reeves' brand Arch Motorcycle. That is, CDProjektRed have taken the Method 143 as inspiration for their Arch Nazare model in Cyberpunk. Not only visually, but also recording the real-life motorcycle over in California to recreate later in the game. Whether this means there will be any more crossovers between Cyberpunk 2077 and real-life manufacturers is anybody's guess, but so far this is a fine step into the future and hopefully emblematic of a door opening that hopefully other manufacturers will also choose to walk through should their budgets allow it. If you're interested in further Cyberpunk and motorsports news, consider hitting that subscribe button and join us in future videos as we gear up toward the launch of Cyberpunk 2077. Until then, we'll see you all later.